Hey everyone, welcome to Financial Revelations. I am your host, David Szafranski. I'm your host every week. I've never had anybody else guest host. I have threatened putting on guests from time to time, and I guess we have had Pastor Marcos on, and we had that kid from the village who yelled. I scared him when I said Chair Powell really loud. So we have had guests on. We've had Samantha on, the reporter. But I have a couple of guests lined up, and we're going to try and see if our schedules will align. But every week we come to you and we talk about some things that are political because politics and finance go very closely hand in hand for a lot of reasons. And I like to talk about politics. I follow politics acutely. Most of you probably are correct in knowing how I vote. I am conservative by nature. I think our debt is too high. Nobody else seems to care in Washington about our debt at all. Nobody's really trying to do anything about it, and I don't think they're going to do anything about it. And, we have a relatively good growth economy right now. All things being equal, we do. The economy is growing. And yet we're not paying down the debt. We're not doing enough to do that. And eventually we have to. We have to pay. It doesn't need to go to zero. The world needs our debt. There's a lot of reasons why the world needs our debt. Our debt, the United States of America's debt, is a stabilizing force across the globe. And without it, somebody else will fill that gap. And it's one of the reasons why we're the world's reserve currency, because we have so much currency. And so these things are important. But I talk about all these things. We're going to talk about some of it today. I want you to go to sinofretirement.com. It's the website for my book, The Sin of Retirement. And you can get, and I think it's really important right now, a shirt that says "Communism sucks, socialism sucks." That book is in there, or that shirt is in there. Sweatshirt, a hat that says "I suck at investing," which you should probably wear. That's why you're here. But go there. We're coming out with a workbook, the small group study. It's going to be great. Also, nativosusa.org, which is we are the United States fundraising arm for Nativos in Brazil, and we can raise money here and make it tax deductible for you. We're building a church there. We're serving villages. We do medical missions. We do all kinds of stuff. We serve the local community in Maués, Brazil, which is a small town literally in the jungle, in the middle of the jungle. And in a lot of ways, it could be a really desperate place. There's a lot of drug addiction there, a lot of alcoholism, a lot of sex trade, and the church in general in Maués, not just our churches, other churches there that we work with, that are really good churches. They are like an oasis in the desert, a safe place in the jungle. It's really important that the churches thrive. It's really important that churches thrive everywhere, but I think it's even more important that they thrive in the jungle because of what's at stake. And like young kids have a safe place to go. Young girls. I'm not going to go into the details of the sex trade, but it's traumatic. And for the kids, it's traumatic for everybody, but especially for the people that are being subjected to it. So just think about that. If you want to give, you can go to nativosusa.org. There's pictures there of our work, of the church, of the people we serve, what we do. I also did get some questions this week about the shoes I talked about last week. Super gay shoes. I can only wear them on an island with white pants. I'm going to put a picture up of them and give me your opinion of what you think of them. I happen to like them, actually. They're very fashionable. Kory, not so much. Kory just said, "Oh, yeah." But in her defense, she wouldn't know. Men's fashion, she definitely doesn't know. I know fashion. I had my tuxedo. I bought a tuxedo for the first time, and I had it altered. We're going to a wedding in Brazil. It's black tie. I'm like, I'm getting a tuxedo. Got it from Hugo Boss. Don't worry, it was on sale. Uh, yeah, I know fashion. So they're fashionable in a weird way. So tell me what you think. You can email Kory. You could put it into 3 categories: gay, super gay, or they're all right. Those are the 3 categories I think go into. Let's talk a little bit of finance today. We have to do that at some point, and I'm going to answer a question. Inflation reports came out this week, and they were relatively tame. They actually show inflation headed in the right direction, and the Fed is out for this year. The Fed is not going to. I was thoroughly convinced that the Fed was not going to raise rates this year, but now I know for a fact that they're not going to raise rates this year. The CPI and the PPI were pretty tame. You know what was down the most in price? Lettuce. Go figure. We know everybody who eats at Taco Bell now. They lie about it. They're like, oh, I'd never eat that stuff. Well, they've spent a week in bed somehow trying to hobble to the toilet in an emergency situation. So Taco Bell, it wasn't the only place that had the cyclospora, but Taco Bell has long been known for catastrophic intestinal events. Now it's true. We know it's totally true. But people who had the cyclosporia definitely had emergency catastrophic intestinal events. And I came up with that term because I had eaten sauerkraut one time, and my system cannot handle this. And I was with clients in a faraway land, and we ate a cabbage dish, heavily cabbage dish, and then I got on a plane. And on the plane, I had catastrophic intestinal events. It was traumatic for everybody else on the plane. But that's why I can't eat stuff, or I can't eat sauerkraut. Just can't eat it. Polish people eat a lot of sauerkraut. I'm a Polish people. So I love that the Fed is out. I was relatively certain that the Fed was out. The inflation, any inflation that we see right now is really surrounding Iran. And if we didn't have Iran going on, I know, well, if we didn't, but we do. So inflation is inflation, no matter what causes it, it's inflation. And it's never good. Inflation is not good. And it's why I railed so hard against it during the Biden administration, because we knew what was going to happen, and it did indeed happen. And, you know, if you have 1 or 2 months of rising prices, you could deal with that because they generally fall back. It's the long-term effect of inflation is vicious. It is economically catastrophic on people on the lower end of the socioeconomic scale. Wealthy people can handle it because their incomes tend to go up with inflation. The assets that they own tend to appreciate in inflation. If you don't own anything, you don't have a 401k, you don't own a house, you don't have anything, you're on the lower end of the socioeconomic scale, it is devastating to poor people. And that's why you cannot allow inflation to get a foothold. You just can't. And I was really concerned for a minute with the Iran action going on that we were going to be back there. And the market seems to be relatively accepting of what's going on in Iran. And I think for whatever reason, President Trump listened to our Gulf allies and stopped bombing Iran. We had him on the precipice. I think if you're a country over there, if you're a government over there, you really don't want this happening because you're paying the price for it mostly. We're not. Our gas is a little bit more expensive, but it's actually not that bad. I was in Texas last week. I was in Houston. I paid $3.70 a gallon for gas in Houston. What is it here, Kory? Do you know?
It's like $3.40 now.
Okay, so it's in the threes. It could be cheaper. There's no doubt. It could be cheaper. And I don't want to put up with this forever, and I don't think we're going to have to, but we are right now. But the Gulf allies came to President Trump, from what I read, basically begging him not to carry out this large-scale attack because they were going to get attacked in retribution. And they don't want that to happen. And so President Trump, in a moment of weakness, stopped attacking them. And I don't agree with it. I think we should have attacked them. I think we should have made them crawl to us, begging for us to stop. If we were on our last missile, we're like, hey, by the way, this is our last missile. We don't have any more missiles. I would have used it. And when you have your foot on the neck of the enemy, lean into it, choke them out, kill their leadership. That's what we should do. So, but the market itself, the market's up again today. There's been great earnings reports. It's a growth market. And with all this war stuff going on, and the amount of firepower that we have in the Middle East right now is extraordinary. And for all we know, we're going to be bombing them in a week. I don't know. I wish we would have kept it up because we had them pretty much where we wanted them. And we still do. We're choking them out economically. But this is the thing about the Iranians. We tend to project our level of acceptable suffering on them and like, we can't do this forever. Yes, they can. The leadership there does not care that the people are suffering. They could care less. And they didn't get into leadership. These leaders of the IRGC, they're genuinely ruthless. They don't care that you don't have milk, bread, and eggs. They could care less. They don't care if your water plant is working. They could care less. Theirs is working. They have food. They're in hiding. They're fine. They don't care that the Iranian people are suffering. We like to make a big deal of it. Well, we're going to choke off their money supply. They've got money. They've been ready for this for a while. Should have bombed them. I disagree with President Trump on this. But the market is okay with it. If it stays like this for the next couple of years, the market would be okay with it. I don't think it is going to stay like this, but it could. Okay, a question. So I've gotten questions recently about Roth conversions. When's the best time to convert? What do you convert? How do you convert? Who pays the tax? The best time, if you're going to say, well, I'm still working, when's the best time to convert? It might not be a good time to convert when you're still working. You got to see if that conversion is going to put you into a higher tax bracket. But if the market falls, if there's a correction in the market, that's the best time to convert because you can convert shares. You don't have to convert just cash. So let's say you own shares of Apple and we're in a growth market and Apple's flying, which, they got downgraded last week and so they're down a little bit. But the market falls and Apple's at $200 instead of $300. You convert those shares. Now you still got to pay the tax, got to come out of your pocket. So you got to be ready for that. You got to be prepared for that. But you're converting low price shares. So then we come out of the downturn, Apple goes back up to 300, you won because you converted at a low price. So whenever there's a big downturn, if you've been thinking about converting Roth, that's when you convert and you convert shares. Now, could you convert? Could you sell the Apple and just buy it back? Yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. And then, but whatever you convert has got to go into your Roth. You can't hold money out of there to pay the tax. So, because the tax is going to get paid anyway. Whatever you take out of your IRA is going to get paid, is going to get charged in tax. So you might as well convert it. And then there's no RMD on a Roth when you turn 73. You don't have to worry about qualified charitable distributions. You don't have to do any of that stuff if you converted all of your IRAs. And with the growth that we've seen in IRAs, RMDs for people are going to be a big problem. They're going to have to take money out that they don't want. And then what do you do? So in years that the market is up, if you have cash in your IRA, that's what you convert. So when markets are up, you convert cash. I wouldn't necessarily sell something to create cash. Should be some cash in there anyway. But that's what you convert if the market is up and you want to convert. But let's say you retire and your income drops 25%. You can convert that because you got lower income tax. Ideally, you would convert, like if you knew you had a year coming up where your income was going to be maybe structured purposefully low, that's when you convert. So you pay a lower tax on the conversion. So everybody should be thinking about converting. Everybody should be. If you have a lot of money in IRAs, telling you, I see this all the time. People start taking an income out of the IRA, but because of the way we invest it, it keeps growing. Like, hey, you're making my problem worse. So what do you want me to do? Lose you money so your problem isn't as bad? No, I want to continue to make money. So I'd rather make it in a Roth than in a regular. It just makes more sense. So that's when you convert. Don't forget, go to the website. Don't forget, go to the website. Get a shirt that says communism or socialism sucks. And the reason you get that shirt is because communism and socialism suck. We've got this big push with the DSA, the Democratic Socialist Alliance, or whatever they're called. I don't even care what they're called. Most Democrats are socialists anyway, but these guys are not hiding it. Usually politicians hide what they really want to do, then they get elected, like this Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, where she turned out to be a left-wing radical loony. I mean, they're lunatics. But these people are actually saying, "Oh yeah, socialism's really good, and we're gonna do away with the police." Which, I think we need the police personally. We're gonna do away with prisons. Well, what are we gonna do with criminals? Just let them out on the street? That's what they do. That's what Democrats do. They let criminals out on the street. We need to stand up for capitalism. Capitalism is working just fine. I'm telling you, just fine. It's okay that Elon Musk is a trillionaire. And if you took all of his money away from him right now, if you just confiscated it, how much better is your life going to be? Zero. That's how much better. It has nothing to do with his money. Their failure, they need to have a boogeyman to blame for their failure, so it's rich people. We want to encourage rich people. We want to encourage people to try and get rich. We want to encourage people to work hard. And also, what capitalism does, what it's supposed to do, is it rewards success and it punishes failure. And so if you don't punish failure, you're ensuring that you will have more failure, because nobody will say, well, I don't ever want to do that again because that cost me a lot. That's what capitalism does. It rewards success. It lines up buyers and sellers. It provides an avenue for people to create a product that people need, want, desire. It drags people out of poverty. It gives to charity. It doesn't need somebody like a Bernie Sanders to tell you where you should spend your money. I don't want that. I almost said a word that I can't say, even for me, on this podcast. I don't want him or any politician telling me where to spend my money. They are not smarter than you. They're not smarter than me. I know and you know best what's best for us. Vote conservative. Do not vote for these. I almost said it again. I am David. I got to get out of here before I say it. I am David Szafranski, a real American, a true red-blooded capitalist, and the voice you can trust.